TV Crazy Man here. In this video, we take a fun look at the most beautiful women of classic television from the 1960s, with some cool trivia facts, a bit of history that might surprise you or in some cases, downright shock you.
I suppose she's a genie too.
Now, who hasn't dreamed of Barbara Eden since she first appeared on I Dream of Jeannie back in 1965? The series ran for 5 seasons and has become a series of legend in reruns ever since.
What shall I do with this?
I bet there's a good chance you may have never known about the movie that inspired the creation of I Dream of Jeannie. The creator of the series, Sydney Sheldon, admitted that he used the comedy The Brass Bottle from 1964 as a working model for the show. The movie starred Tony Randall as a man who finds a genie, but in this case it's a male genie played by singer Burl Ives. In the movie, Randall's girlfriend just happens to be played by Barbara Eden. Believe it or not.
I suppose she's a genie too.
But that didn't mean Eden was guaranteed the role. Sydney Sheldon didn't want a blonde to play Jeannie because he didn't want comparisons to Bewitched. But none of the other actresses competing for the role were able to play the role the way he wrote it. But since Barbara Eden did impress him in The Brass Bottle, she got the role. Now, according to what I read in IMDb, when asked why the show went off the air, Barbara Eden replied that the producers felt they had enough episodes for a syndication sale, and the show lost viewers when Tony and Jeannie got married. Also read that Barbara Eden has said of Larry Hagman that she has never before or since worked with another actor that she had such a connection and rhythm with. Barbara Eden was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for television in Hollywood, California on November 17, 1988. I Dream of Jeannie wouldn't be the last time that Larry Hagman and Barbara Eden would work together. In 1971, they starred on a no laughs at all TV horror movie, A Howling in the Woods. Even though they had a great working relationship, Hagman did not appear on the 2 TV movie reunions for I Dream of Jeannie years later. Even though it's really hard to imagine, Barbara Eden is now 93 years old. Another TV classic that has stood the test of time is the Munsters. The very talented Yvonne De Carlo played Lily Munster, but something you may not realize is that not only did Yvonne De Carlo have a successful movie career before the Munsters, playing the wife of Moses, for example, in the epic The 10 Commandments, but she was also known as being a sex symbol before she was the wife of Herman Munster. In 1940, she won 2nd place in the Miss Venus Beauty Contest and placed 5th in that year's Miss California competition. Before becoming a movie star, she danced in nightclubs and revues. In May 1941, a critic from the Los Angeles Times said, "The dancing of Yvonne De Carlo is especially notable." Believe it or not, her first acting contract was with Paramount for a whopping $60 a week. She was loaned to Republic Pictures to portray the Indian princess in Deerslayer. It was her first featured role in a full-length film. Eventually, Universal signed her to a long-term contract for $150 a week. Then she was cast in Salome, where she danced. According to Wikipedia, it's been claimed that 21 Royal Canadian Air Force Bombardier students who loved De Carlo as a pinup star had campaigned to get her the role in Salome, where she danced. It was that picture that made her an up-and-coming star. In September 1954, producer-director Cecil B. DeMille cast her as the wife of Moses, who was played by Charlton Heston, in his biblical epic The 10 Commandments. Taking the role very seriously, she took weaving lessons and shepherding lessons, believe it or not. She also worked with a drama coach months before filming began. But while things were going well for a while, in '63, her husband, a stuntman, had a terrible accident, leaving her to have to do everything possible to pay the bills. And by 1964, she was in debt, which led her to accept the role as Lily Munster, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Just never you mind about Marilyn.
Yes, Marilyn Munster was television's answer to Marilyn Monroe.
You must remember, she's not as fortunate as the rest of us.
Pat Priest took over the role of Marilyn from Beverly Owen, who wanted out of the show because it took her away from her boyfriend. Pat Priest looked so much like Owen, most viewers didn't even notice the change. I don't think they ever really told us why Marilyn was normal and not like the rest of the Munsters, but one can speculate she must have been adopted.
We're the average American family.
Priest was selected as one of the Capitol's 10 most beautiful women while living in Washington, D.C. with her mother. Like Barbara Eden, she appeared on an Elvis movie. Easy Come, Easy Go has the distinction of having the worst-selling Elvis soundtrack or record ever released for RCA, originally only selling 30,000 copies. The film is included on the film critic Roger Ebert's most hated list. But personally, I've seen it twice in the last year and I thought it was fine. Priest also appeared on 3 episodes of Bewitched, an episode of My Favorite Martian, Perry Mason, The Lucy Show, Mannix, and several other classic TV series. One movie she appeared on I don't ever plan on seeing myself. It's called The Two-Headed Transplant, a cheap horror movie that also featured Casey Kasem, believe it or not. Donna Douglas played 17-year-old Ellie Mae Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies. She was actually 30 years old during the first season and 38 by the time the series ended. The Beverly Hillbillies lasted for 8 seasons.
Hide your eyes! Ellie Mae, go put on the rest of that bathing suit.
The series was #1 in the ratings the first couple of years and had some of the most watched episodes in history. Before the series began, she was Miss Baton Rouge and then in 1957, Miss New Orleans. She spent hours autographing photos and personally responding to fan mail, even though she received more than anyone else in the cast of the Beverly Hillbillies. And of course, that was before email. I wonder if she at least hired a typist.
This year's offspring's the Duke and me.
Douglas was a self-described tomboy in her younger days, and just like her character Ellie Mae Clampett, she was extremely fond of animals. Douglas also managed to get on an Elvis movie, Frankie and Johnny. Seems like Elvis got all the TV girls, and the movie girls, and the girls that didn't have movies. Before the Beverly Hillbillies, she appeared on the classic Twilight Zone episode, Eye of the Beholder. She also appeared on an episode of Mr. Ed as a model, which made Wilbur's wife really jealous. I almost forgot she was on another episode where she was married to Alan Hale Jr., so it's kind of like the skipper was married to Ellie Mae Clampett. Throughout the century, the biggest question of viewers of classic television may always be, which girl from Gilligan's Island is your favorite? Ginger the movie star or Mary Ann the wholesome farm girl from Kansas? And of course, there are those that pick Mrs. Howell, who was the mother figure of the show, sort of a rich June Cleaver. She acts like Gilligan's mom in some episodes, and even seemed like a mom to Mr. Howell, who often needed his teddy bear. Mary Ann wasn't in the original pilot episode. Instead, they had a girl named Bunny. Ginger and Bunny were only secretaries. Hollywood wasn't even mentioned.
The lady I would pick is the most beautiful in the world, Mary Ann.
Dawn Wells was Miss Nevada in 1959. She participated in Miss America in 1960. Believe it or not, she auditioned for the role of Lois Lane in the blockbuster Superman the Movie in 1978, but lost out to Margot Kidder. Dawn Wells appeared in the rock song Mary Ann by the group Squirt Gun. Dawn Wells played the same character, Mary Ann, on several different series. Gilligan's Island, of course, Gilligan's Planet, an animated series where she voiced Ginger as well, Alf, Baywatch, Herman's Head, and Migo.
To Ginger, the most beautiful castaway in the whole wide world.
Tina Louise, who is most associated with playing Ginger Grant on Gilligan's Island, didn't take part in any of the reunion TV movies or the animated series, but she did do a few talk shows that reunited the cast and a few commercials. Many sources say that she hated her role as Ginger, but she said that that's not actually true. According to Russell Johnson, Tina was told she would be the main star of the series when she was initially approached about doing it, and when she arrived in Los Angeles after accepting the offer, she found out otherwise. Johnson also recalls that while Tina remained professional throughout the series' run without raising a fuss, that she had divorced herself from the show as soon as it went off the air. Now, according to Sherwood Schwartz, she did offer to appear in the reunion movie Rescue from Gilligan's Island in 1978, but the salary she demanded was considered too high. When Dawn Wells passed away at the end of 2020, Tina Louise became the last surviving cast member, from Gilligan's Island. No show embodied the 60s more than Batman, which had quite a few beautiful actresses, including Yvonne Craig as Batgirl. She's the second Yvonne on this video, who is also a dancer. Batgirl's favorite fighting move was the kick.
Holy agility!
It's likely Batgirl kicked so much because Yvonne was a professional ballet dancer. Before she was Batgirl, she played 6 different love interests for Dobie Gillis.
Dobie, you're 3 minutes late.
Hi! How about the movies again tonight?
Yvonne was in a lot of great stuff, including the movie Kissing Cousins, starring Elvis Presley in 1964, which was just a few years before she became Batgirl. Wonder if Elvis had these kinds of scenes in his contract. I read this movie was filmed in just 17 days. A year later, Yvonne would make a guest appearance on My Favorite Martian, starring Bill Bixby, who would also go on to play a superhero. Bixby also happened to be in 2 Elvis movies himself. Kind of makes you wonder if that's why she turned up green on Star Trek. Yvonne was in a lot of things, too numerous to mention. The 1966 Batman had a lot of superwomen, mostly all bad guys, except of course Batgirl. C.V. Aberg appeared twice on Batman as 2 different villains. The first was a 2-parter starring Liberace, but I think her best appearance was as Joker's henchwoman Undine on the episode Surf's Up, The Joker's Under. She was Miss Sweden of 1964. She was 3rd runner-up in the 1964 Miss Universe Beauty pageant. She was winner in 1967 of the Hollywood Stars of Tomorrow Awards, hosted by Steve Allen. Catwoman has gone back and forth, from one of Batman's foes to his love interest and somewhere in between.
When I get out of jail, will you take me on a date?
Come on, Batman, the police are here!
What about Robin?
Well, I have him killed.
Catwoman was played by 3 women for the Adam West Batman TV series. First, Julie Newmar, then Lee Merriweather in the Batman movie. In Season 2 of Batman, Julie Newmar came back, but then Eartha Kitt took over for Catwoman in Season 3. She was not just an actress, but also a famous singer. I bet you've probably heard her Santa Baby song around Christmas time. So, which 1960 actress is your favorite? Post your thoughts in the comments. Please hit the like, subscribe, and if you like this video, check out my video on the most beautiful women of classic TV superhero shows, or check out the TV Movie Facts, Trivia, History, and Goose playlist for lots of great classic TV nostalgia. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a great day.